I praise the Lord, church family, New Bethel members. This is your health and wellness ministry. I am Megan, your health and wellness ministry coordinator, and I have with me today Brother Calvin Summers. He's also a member of health and wellness ministry at New Bethel Church. In today's Life Impact session, we're going to be discussing your health. Your health matters. This is going along a series of several other Life Impact sessions that we have hosted. And see. So, just to review, just a quick agenda, we're going to be discussing what good health is. That will be both from a provider's perspective and individually. We'll we'll also discuss the importance of faith and how faith really ties in to good health and well-being. We'll be sharing with you some preventative measures, and we'll be sharing also some final tips and takeaways. So I would like to just kind of start us out with scripture. This is 3 John 1 and 2. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in good health, even as thou soul prospereth. And so this is really a very impactful statement and really just kind of goes along to the scripture and testament that is in the Bible on good health and well-being.
Okay.
And so when we look at good health, I just wanted to just share my testimony. I am new to New Bethel, so a lot of you are still trying to get to know who Megan is. But when I look at why I've been spiritually called to not only be an educator, but to be a provider, it really started for me when I was in my early 20s. I had given birth to my daughter, and I will say maybe about a couple years later, I was diagnosed with hypertension. Now, I wasn't completely oblivious to what hypertension was, but to have a provider tell me, you've been diagnosed with this, it immediately put fear in my heart. I was kind of scared. I didn't know if that meant, I'll be I was dying, you know what I'm saying? And so, especially when providers have a tendency to kind of use big words that are just above your head. And I mean, honestly, I was just scared. My provider didn't share with me how I got it, why I got it, what certain risk factors were. I don't even believe my provider really going over like a good treatment plan on how I can get rid of it. And so I wanted to just kind of dive into healthcare and education to just help people. Especially when you go to the doctor's office, you're scared. You don't know what's going to happen, and most people are just kind of fearful because of the unknown. You go and you hear like that you have like 7,000 things wrong with you, and so a lot of people avoid it. And so I just wanted to be just that calming, soothing soul that can kind of just help educate and explain things better, not only education wise, but also being a provider. So, just from a provider's perspective, good health starts with health literacy. And health literacy is an individual's ability to find, understand, and use the information and services to inform them on health related decisions and actions for themselves as well as others. And so this really provides an individual with the resources that they need to manage whatever condition they are diagnosed with. And just to know that you don't have to give up on hope. You don't have to be afraid that you can still live your best abundant life and still have like some type of medical condition. And so when I kind of go over this with a patient, I'm really trying, or a person or patient, I'm really asking the individual, let's use hypertension as an example. tell me in your own words, like, or your own thinking, what do you think hypertension is? And so they'll get the opportunity to just kind of explain what they think it is, maybe how they're going to help, how they're going to manage it. And then here's the opportunity where I can kind of clear up any confusion. Most of our individuals and people in the community are very tech savvy, and I mean, most people kind of know what hypertension and some of the other conditions that they have been diagnosed are, but sometimes it gets a little fuzzy when it's time to talk about the treatment plan. And so, anytime I'm providing education to an individual, I will intentionally make pauses. And so, I'll intentionally pause, and this will allow that individual to either ask questions or help me just kind of clear up any con- confusion. Um, and I don't want to just be doing all the talking here, but now I've kind of stated maybe what good health is from a provider's perspective. I'm just going to help kind of turn over to Brother Calvin. What do you think maybe good health is from your perspective?
I think a good, healthy diet and
Hmm.
exercise,
Hmm.
yearly checkups.
Hmm. Absolutely. And not only that, but when an individual does come in for their yearly checkups, one of the things that we do, and I like to have a tangible, like a piece of paper, or um, I like to have with me the patient's like labs. And so, if maybe you have hypertension and I wanted to go over your labs, part of that is I'm looking at what we will call is your lipid panel. So your lipid panel has like your cholesterol, your triglycerides, and so all of the above. And so I'll explain it to the individual. Here's what the normal levels are, and I like to look at the trend of numbers. I just don't take one set of lab values and just kind of tell the patient you're doing terrible. We like to look at the trend. And so what that means is I like to look at maybe if you had labs done today, I like to see what they were 6 months ago. I like to see what they were a year ago. And this helps me see globally, like overall, how you are doing. And it's just those small strides, will kind of help ease a person's mind versus looking at one set of labs. And Brother Calvin, you did touch base on diet or eating better. What are just maybe some examples that you see as or like a way a person can like eat better to feel well?
Protein like fish,
Mm-hmm.
chicken,
Mm-hmm.
fruit,
Mm-hmm.
vegetable, nuts,
Mm-hmm.
plenty of water.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And just kind of sitting people down and just kind of going through like an example meal plan, or even asking a person, can you keep track of your food diary, keep track of everything that you are eating, and then you can share this with your healthcare provider so we can see what you are actually eating. And we understand that no one's perfect. With all that good healthy eating, sometimes you need a break. Maybe your family's having a family barbecue and you really want to enjoy the food. Nothing's wrong with that. We are encouraging you to do that, but just not eat like that every single day. Because even with me having hypertension, I have to be careful on how much sodium or salt that I am taking in. And so I try to stay away from a lot of fried foods, but I do, like Brother Calvin said, bake a lot of fish, baked chicken, steak. And so, and I include with that protein, a lot of vegetables and fruit and water. So we're going to move on to the next slide here. So we're going to just kind of look at health and faith and how faith really ties an important piece into being health and just really feeling well. Just like I said, being in the medical field, all the medicine in the world, all the diagnostic testing, all the fancy equipment, sometimes is not enough to make a person or help a person feel um, well. Even some people that I see in the community, these people they are following their treatment plan that their provider has set forth for them. They're taking their medicines every day. They're like eating good, but still something is just missing. And staying connected in faith, knowing that God really has the final say, is really important when it comes to health. Because even when a lot of patients or a lot of people are in patients that I've taken care of have been on life support, again, we really like to bring in and respect our patients and loved ones' wishes. If they are, we want them to stay connected in their faith, and so if they want their pastor to come by and pray for them, or if they want to do like a religious practice at the bedside, we respect that and we support that. How about you, Brother Calvin? How do you think faith ties into health?
I think it has a lot to do with it. I mean, sometimes what we're speaking on, it can be hereditary.
True.
Like he was saying that he can be doing all the right things and stuff still happen.
That's
I've
true.
seen guys and men and women who run 5, 6 miles a day and still end up having a heart attack or something. So
That
I
is
think
true.
that far as faith wise, yes, you always have to, even when you go to the doctor, you always leave it in God's hand. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. That really it was perfect. And like I said, even the most healthiest individuals still can be diagnosed with a chronic or a acute condition. And so and I've seen it on both ends of the spectrum. People who, you know, knock on wood, they're obese. They never had a heart attack. They've never been diagnosed with diabetes, but still, just that risk factor alone, they are knocking on the door to it. So we're going to
yeah,
move on to the next slide. Just looking at just some preventative measures to help you stay healthy and just living your best abundant life. I think for us all, it is so important that you stay abreast, that you stay informed on your health care. I cannot stress that enough. Sometimes we kind of get uh, in this little zone where, and I get it, some people just don't want to know how their health is doing, so they kind of avoid going to the doctor's office. We don't want you to do that. We want you to stay unknown of what is going on, paying attention to your body. I mean, you know your body better than us, and so when something is not right, we want you to pay attention to it, and we want you to investigate that further by going to be seen at your doctor's office. So just staying informed um, on your health is important. Like Brother Captain was saying earlier, just knowing your risk factors. Do you? And I was going to ask you, Brother Calvin, do you mind sharing what you know of is? Do you mind sharing what you know is some maybe modifiable risk factors, some things that people can change?
uh, their diet for
Yeah.
sure. What they eat. Uh, and exercise.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
like I pretty much already said, and yearly checkups, and
Yeah.
you said it too. You have to listen to your body. Only
Mhm.
you know your body better than us, so you had
Mhm.
to. When you see something ain't right, rather than waiting, go in and get it checked down.
Absolutely.
I like,
Good job.
uh, but like I said, I think diet is probably 80% of it, and the rest is probably exercise, and the two together. I wouldn't say. I think you have a better chance of being healthy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for me, now that I have more time that I'm not in school now, I love to exercise and swim, and I just want people to know, especially like with me, I gained a lot of weight during school because I didn't have time to do either. But you know, sometimes people get discouraged, especially with their weight. And I'm just here to tell you, you didn't gain it overnight. You're not going to lose it overnight. From a provider's perspective, and even individually, small strides. And so, if you just set small milestones, maybe you want to go for maybe a 15-minute walk, and maybe the next day maybe you increase that to 30, and maybe you kind of change up your diet. Maybe you like to eat a lot of fried foods. Maybe start baking your foods, making sure you're drinking enough water. And so knowing your risk factors, Brother Calvin just shared some of those modifiable risk factors, things that we can change. If you smoke, so you can kind of start kind of weaning down on that. Even if you have been diagnosed with diabetes, now you can still have diabetes and still manage your diabetes very well. And again, we look at your hemoglobin A1C levels. This is how well you've been managing that for the last few months, but you can still have a condition and still be in good health, as long as you are managing that well. I also wanted to just say some of those things that we cannot change in terms of risk factors. We can't change our age, we can't change our ethnicity. So things that we can't change, your family history or genetic history. If you have first line relatives who have had a stroke, who have had maybe a heart attack, who have been diagnosed with diabetes, your risk factors are high that you may most likely have the same condition. So, knowing your risk factors, knowing how you can kind of get on top of these things to prevent this from happening the best way you can is very important. And again, like I mentioned before, just paying attention to your body. On to the next one. Any, I guess, final tips or takeaways you want to add, brother Calvin?
None that I know of.
Yeah.
Nothing off the top of my head. I'll put it like that.
Okay. Okay. Um, but again, just like I said, we just kind of touch base on just good health and what that looks like from a provider's perspective as well as individually. And we have to take into account the entire person. And so it's just not just looking at your medical conditions. And I also wanted to touch base on the fact that even our babies and infants are not immune from being diagnosed with some sort of medical problem. And so I like to look at this from across the lifespan, because even when your child is sick, this can definitely have an increased risk to kind of playing or weighing heavy on the family dynamics. And so we not only look at you individually, but we look at your spiritual, your emotional. I mean, all of these things that make you up as a whole person. And so we try our best to kind of just touch base and try to work with you on each of these domains. But like I said before, and like Brother Calvin said, staying in the know. You gotta know what's going on. Health literacy is really important. Speaking up if there's something that you do not understand. If a lot of times when we do get people that may come in to the doctor, maybe they are being readmitted. 9 times out of 10, they don't truly understand their treatment plan. So we want you to speak up. We want you to ask questions. Even calling into the pro- provider's office just for clarification. And so we are here to help you. We also just want to say that we hope that this was a meaningful session. Brother Calvin it will be around. I will be around. This definitely will air on the YouTube station. And so if you have any questions that we can help answer you at a later time, let us know. I'm going to move to the next slide. We just want to thank you for joining this session. Health Check, Your Health Matters, Brother Calvin and myself. Hope that you was able to receive some advice or some tips on how to be in good health, how to continue living your best abundant life. We want you to be healthy, be blessed, and thank you.
Greetings. Welcome to the New Bethel Church. Morning prayer is held every Wednesday at 6:15 a.m. Call details are on the church website and social media pages. Prayer requests can be submitted throughout the week to the church office, or you may email them to prayer@newbethelkc.org.
A new summer Christian education series has begun. The theme is Do the Best You Can with Your Own Life. Part 2, Your Responsibility, Heart, Home, and Health. We invite you to join us each week.
Save the date for Vacation Bible School 2024. This Vacation Bible School is for all ages. It will be held July 29th through August 2nd from 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. nightly. Dinner will be served each evening. Confirm your attendance online at newbethelkc.org.
We encourage you to stay connected to the New Bethel Church by following our social media platforms, New Bethel KC.
We invite you to continue supporting the New Bethel Church. Thank you for your contribution.